here and that you get to hear Scotty Baker. He helped write this material for the division. The union rolled it out, and then the division adopted this syllabus. So Scotty is a Pathfinder parent, and he's been a club director. He wears many hats. He loves scripture, he loves archaeology, and he loves Pathfinders. So glad you can be with us tonight. Thank you, Scotty.
Okay, let's see if I can share my screen. Let's see. Tell me if you can.
Yes.
This is probably not what I want you to see. Let's try again. Okay. Is that better? Are you able to see the PowerPoint or no? Or are we still not?
I can see both the PowerPoint and the slides to the left.
Okay, and how about before? Could you see both before? Okay, let's just try this, and then I'll try starting it and see if that changes. Okay, is that better?
Yes, that's better.
Okay, very good. All right. Well, it's very nice to be with you. I can't see anybody, so I'm just going to assume everybody's out there and everything's working well. It is my pleasure to be with you tonight. I'll be talking about teaching investiture achievement, but I'm actually going to be doing this from a director's perspective. Having been a director, there's a lot of things I learned along the way that I thought maybe will be able to help. And I'm not able in the way I have things set up here to see chat. So someone's gonna have to let me know if there's any questions along the way, or just jump in here, Cheryl or someone else. I wish Logan was here to help us. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and do this. And if someone can help me with the chat room, we'll see how that goes. Okay.
Yes.
So I start off with a guiding text. The guiding text is from Proverbs 22:6. It's very, of course, appropriate for what we do with Pathfinders. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. I mean, that's really basically why we do Pathfinders. The whole point of Pathfinders really is to take kids from adolescence through adolescence, from childhood to young adulthood, through adolescence, that turbulent time where they don't know who they are, or they're trying to figure out who they are. They're trying to be cool for each other, and that really kind of rough time that no one really likes, but we all love the kids anyway. And as we go through this, we provide this like safe space where they can fail, and we can get them back up again and let them go again. And so Pathfinders has presented some kind of a curriculum to help us do this. And we've all been doing this. Maybe some of you are new. Some of this may not be new to some of you, but we're gonna go through all of it kind of in a hurry and get down to the parts where the director's part of it. Like, how can you make this be successful? So if we're talking about investiture achievement first, now this has been happening since 2011. So in 2011, the classwork curriculum changed. It had been called Adventist Youth, or AY. When I was in Pathfinders, there's always AY. In fact, when I was in Pathfinders, I think Busy Bee and everything was part of Pathfinders. Now it's part of Adventurers, but the curriculum kind of kept changing over time. Somewhere in the 70s, it became more classroom type oriented. That's what we're dealing with right now, is more of a classroom type style. In 2011, it got renamed Investiture Achievement, and there are many reasons for that. Those reasons are on the screen. I won't take time right now to go through them. But basically, it was a lot of work. It needed to be more manageable. It needed to be more possible with the way the world works today. And so it got renamed Investiture Achievement. AY became the name for the umbrella. All the ministries together are called Adventist Youth now, or AY. So that means Little Lambs, the 4 to 5 year olds, the Eager Beavers, the 5 to 6 year olds, and then Adventurers, Pathfinders, and Master Guides, all is Adventist Youth. Adventurers Club is now organized by grade. It used to be by age. When I was in it, it was by age, but it was a little bit difficult because you're in the same grade in school, but then you go and you're Pathfinders, and maybe you're in different grades. Well, I did Pathfinders in church, and I also did it in church school. And so if you're a teacher in church school, in first grade, you're teaching first graders, and you want to help them with their adventurer curriculum. It's difficult if you have different ages and you got to go by age. And so to be able to go by grade made a lot more sense. Also, even if you're teaching this on a Pathfinder club, like most of us are as directors, you get a chance to, their friends can all be together in the same unit or same level, class level in Pathfinder that they are in school. And so that also kind of makes things a lot more simple. So once you get into Adventurer Club, grades 1 to 4 are the, the Busy Bee all the way up for those Adventurer Clubs. And then Pathfinders begins with grade 5. And that goes all the way up through, actually it goes up through grade 10 with guide. But then as you work on your master guide for 2 years, which is about what it takes, most people, that's your 11th and 12th grade year. The idea is that when you graduate high school, you then a master guide, and you can then turn right around and become staff and help teach. And so the TLT program and other programs are designed to kind of help train young people who, especially those that we see potential leadership, and to kind of help them turn back around and become staff members. So all of this is called AY, and you probably had mini class on this already. So what's the purpose of investiture achievement? I mean, obviously, the simple answer is to achieve investiture. Investiture, of course, is that end of the year meeting, the very last thing you do, where you get all of your honor patches and your pins for your classwork and all that. One year here in Michigan, I think it was my first year as a director, we have in Michigan a Pathfinder fair. I think most conferences have a Pathfinder fair, but in Michigan we do like a whole camping trip. It's not just a day, a Sunday, but it's a whole weekend, similar to the camporee in the fall. And so we came up, and our idea was we'll do the fair, and then at the fair we'll finish up a few honors, some of the camping skills honors, and then when we get back home again, we'll do our investiture. So we came up to the fair that first year, and it was a rookie mistake. We never did it again. We came, and some of our Pathfinders, especially the friends, just had blank sashes. They had nothing on the sashes. And they have friends in other clubs, and their other friends in other clubs, I overheard them kind of laughing and saying, "What, you guys didn't do anything this year?" Because most clubs do investiture before the Pathfinder fair, so you can show what you learned. It didn't occur to me, so we made that mistake. We never did it again. We always did investiture then before the fair, so the Pathfinders would have time to sew on their honor patches, especially the friends. So when they get to the fair, they have something, because up to that point, they don't have anything. And so investiture is that last kind of celebration about what God's accomplished in their lives, and what they are now able to do for God because of what they learned that year. And so investiture, that's what we're trying to achieve. Now, the better answer, of course, is to train Pathfinders to accomplish the goal of Pathfinder ministries. That's really what we're doing. I mean, we're trying to teach them to be, better servants of God and friends to man, right? That becoming better of service better for God, and become a better citizen in the community. That's the whole point. That's why we do the things we do and teach the kids the things they do. So investiture accomplishes this. I think all of us probably know that. But there's 2 elements to the Pathfinder curriculum. Investiture achievement is the class work curriculum, and we'll go through that here in a minute. And then there's the honor work curriculum, which we'll end today's presentation with. So the IA is taking the place of the AY. So if you get confused, you just think that substitution. So in investiture achievement, in the course, the classroom work, there are 2 elements, two aspects of this, 2 achievements, and we all know them. These are the basic pins, the ones that go on your flap. I'm sorry, I'm not in my Master Guide uniform. I'm up at Camp Asable this week, and I forgot my Pathfinder uniform at home, so I apologize for that. But on your flap of your shirt, on the left flap, you put the pins there, the round pins for the basic. So when you complete your basic coursework, classwork, you get the pin. And if you do the advanced, which is a couple extra elements, probably an honor or something, you put the little ribbon bars above that flap up above. And so you have the friend, and it's called now trail friend. Companion is trail companion. Explorer, the advanced for that is wilderness explorer, et cetera, until you have frontier for voyager and guide. It's just fancy names for kind of saying that's the advanced thing you're doing. It's kind of nice, and that works really, really well. So in the investiture achievement, we've had, obviously for many years, I use my cursor here. I don't know. We've had many years, we've had this little fold out checkbook. Now it's not been as fancy and nicely designed as this, but it's this little fold out thing you just put check marks by. That's still available. You can get that through Advent Source. They also have, which I really like, is their friend journal. I think it's like $5 each or something. We include that price in their Pathfinder dues so that you can afford it as a club, and then we order a bunch of them ahead of time so that we have it for them. This is where you keep a record. This friend journal is where you keep a record. Each Pathfinder takes it home with them. And so what we would do in our club is they have to come to club, of course, in their meeting, in their uniform, which usually is the field uniform, the t-shirt and the jeans, or whatever you do for your type B, your field uniform. But we would make the Bible and this journal, we would make that also part of their uniform. I think I'm feedback on somebody. Can somebody turn your mute off? Also, they have also available these wall charts. Now these are quite big, and they're very nice. And so I always ordered a set every year. And so what it is you can see them, they're different colors. Your friend is the blue, obviously. It's the same, it matches the pins all the way up to your guide. The guide is, of course, the yellow or the gold. And on it, you have these slots here where you can write the names of all of your guides or all your friends, the companions, explorers, rangers, and voyagers. You write them on there, and then these are all the requirements that are necessary for completion of whatever honor. So you can, at a glance, you can see it. Now, one trick that I did, so when you order this packet of 6, obviously you only need 1 packet per year. The front cover of this packet is all 6 of them nicely laid out. Now it's a miniature, but it's all laid out. I like to take that and put it inside of one of my 3-ring binders, and I would keep track of it, or I'd have the secretary keep track of the wall charts, look at them every week, and just update my individual one at a glance, all of it. So it's not meant for that purpose, but that's how I used it, and it actually worked really, really well. And so those are the 3 tools you have. And in these investiture achievement, in this new curriculum, there are 8 areas of growth. The first one, personal growth, is only for the basic. That's for the little pins, the round pins. And the last one, the 8th one, is honor enrichment, which is only for the advanced. That's the ribbon bar. But all the others, the middle, 6 of them, have both basic elements and advanced elements to them. You only have to accomplish the basic for them to be able to accomplish and be able to say that they have now a friend, or they're now a companion, or whatever it is. The advanced, of course, is for extra. But as a director, I think, at least I felt it was necessary or important for me to make it available for the Pathfinders to be able to do the advanced. Depends on your situation. If you're a small club, if you're a small team and you have, if you're, like, say, a husband and wife, or maybe even one person, and you got 6 Pathfinders and they're in all 6 different levels, you can't, I think it's gonna be way too much. You may just say the advanced is on your own. I can't do it with you. But if you're in a little bit bigger situation, better situation, bigger club, you want to be able to do something to help them accomplish that. And so I'm going to give you some tips about how to do that as we go through. But first of all, let's go through each of these really quickly, and I'll kind of show you what they're all about, because I like the progression. The progression is very intelligent, and I think it's something you can kind of build on or help yourself as you're kind of helping your counselors teach this, or your instructors, depending on how you do things. So let's start then with the first one, the personal growth. Now, I'm not going to show the pages for each of these. I kind of cut those out to make for time purposes. But this is what the personal growth looks like. So it starts here, personal growth, and it's got a couple pages. The personal growth, they have a place for the picture. They can draw it there. They can cut and paste one from their school, or they can, whatever, however they want to do that. This is their book to kind of grow. And then every day, everybody has basic some Bible text to read, and now obviously you have 4 for this week to read, but only 3 questions. So you don't have to answer. They don't have to answer every question for every text, or they can. There's plenty of space. They can write. They can draw pictures to illustrate, so they can be a little more free. Some people learn different ways, and then you as a director are going to help your counselors to know, or instructors know, that as long as they're answering the questions, whether it's a picture or whether it's words, that's okay. It's their experience as they're going through it. But also for the friends, now they also include the Pathfinder Pledge and Law and the song, so they can learn those things, obviously. But it's all there in their journal, so they have it with them. And as long as they bring it to the club meeting, they have it available, especially if you don't have, you know, the big words up on a screen or on a banner or something. It's really nice to have. And now what I want you to see about this is that as we go through the personal growth, they also have to read through different books of the Bible. So the friends start out with Matthew. It's a good book, the Gospels. Companions then do Genesis. Explorers go to Acts. Now it's still stories. Rangers go back to the Gospels, but now with John. John's a little bit more, you know, little more flow of beauty and the things. And then Romans for Voyagers. So now we see when they get to high school, they're kind of upping it. They're going now into a letter, and this is a little bit more complicated, but it's more age appropriate. And then guides, of course, 10th grade Revelation. So they kind of progress, and you'll see the same kind of progression in each of these areas. So spiritual growth, they need to memorize. Friends need to memorize. Look at the bold letters here, the bold words. They need to memorize the New Testament books, and there's less of them, so it's a good thing for the friends to learn. Companions need to learn the order of the Old Testament books. So you can see it gets a little bit harder. Then explorers learn how to use a concordance to find, you know, things, love or whatever. Then rangers do Bible marking. So it's getting progressively more age appropriate with the technical skills. Voyagers do 28 fundamental beliefs. Now, the great thing about that is they're freshmen in high school. And if they go to an Adventist high school, they're going to do this already in their school. So just as long as they're doing it in the school, that's fine. You can check that requirement off. I'll have the teacher in the school, the religion teacher, check it off for them. And that's a key thing. When we get to the high school students, the Voyagers and guides, one thing that we learned in our club is that we were having trouble keeping our high school students because high school, the level of what was required for them in school was so much, and Pathfinders seemed to duplicate some of that, especially in church school. It was very, very difficult for them. And so trying to find ways that you can substitute what they're learning in school already with what the Pathfinder curriculum requires is an easy way to make it not a burden for them. You want the high school students to love Pathfinders and to get easier for them as they get, you know, technically harder, less busy work. And so you're kind of trying to find ways to merge them. So if they're already doing SA fundamental beliefs in school, there's no reason why you need to spend lots of time. You can review with it real quick just to make sure they check it off if you want. But there's no reason why you need to go in depth and have it do it all over again, give them homework assignments and other things that may be too much. And then the guides have to memorize some texts and learn how to lead others to Jesus. So now you're progressing them through. Same kind of thing with serving others, the next skill. The friends have to find a way to be a friend. And the way they do it is they spend 4 hours in church school projects. Now that's something they're probably already doing. Companions have to help elderly spend some time in church school projects. Explorers, 4 hours in community service. Now as a Pathfinder, that's not hard. We're doing that already. But you need to be mindful of letting them know that this is what they're doing. And again, also with the church school projects. And then rangers are doing a community honor. Voyagers, the community needs honor, so there's an extra honor they need to do. So as they're doing it, they're learning now how to become better at being good citizens in their community. And then of course the guides, 1 of 3 honor requirements, and you need it twice. And so it gets a little bit more progressively difficult. Same thing here. You can see making friends. Making friends. The thing about this making friends element in the investiture achievement curriculum is that in the basic part, they don't need to do the incomplete honor. So friends, Christian citizenship, that's actually to complete the honor is part of the advanced, but they do almost the entire honor already as part of the basic. There's like 1 or 2 things they're not doing. It's easy to just go ahead and finish that honor off. So each of them have to do different honors: Christian citizenship, then cultural diversity, appreciation, then explorers do Christian grooming and manners. If of course, you've been around young people, you guys all probably realize that by the time you get to 7th graders, their hygiene really needs to be addressed. And so it's really important. Things start smelling a lot more. You got to start helping them learn how to be. And so actually, you'll probably need a male and a female instructor, and at some point separate them, boys and girls, separate them so that the male can then help the boys with the more boy-specific things, and the female instructor can help the girls with the more girl-specific items in obviously grooming. And that takes away some of the embarrassment, but it also helps them get a little bit more specific to something that's more, I mean, obviously boys don't need to know a whole lot about some of the things that happen with girls every month. And so that kind of takes that kind of out, separate that a little bit better. But they're back together again in Rangers as family life, and some part of explorers are together anyway. It's just some elements will have to be separated out. Voyagers, family life, they're 8th graders. They need to be reminded that family matters. It's not, yes, you're now growing up, and yes, you're getting to be important, but your family still matters. And so to learn how to appreciate family life as an 8th grader, tough for them. They need to remember that. So that's a good placement of that. Voyagers most likely are starting to do some kind of work now. And so they need to learn about stewardship. It's very appropriate, and guides, language studies. But the thing about guides and language studies, all high school students have to learn another language. If they don't do it their freshman year, they certainly do it by their sophomore year, you know, whether it's Spanish or French or some other language. And so that's again, another thing they can do in high school that you can check them off here, so that they don't, and they have to do some elements that are Pathfinder specific, but that shouldn't be too hard based on, you know, what they're doing already in school. So the next one, of course, is health and fitness. And we'll be coming back to health and fitness in a minute. Just notice at the very top, it says all must have. And you'll notice on every journal, and I'll show you where that's at. I'll actually show you a picture of the actual page in a minute. But all must have basic water safety or beginning swimming. So if you're taking swimming classes, that's enough. You don't have to do basic water safety, but basic water safety, every Pathfinder needs. This is a basic requirement for every person who's alive should know how to be safe in water. And it's really simple. It's like bobbing up and down, learning how to blow bubbles. There's very little in it that is too difficult. In fact, we usually do this in an afternoon. I used to be a lifeguard, water safety instructor, and so I would teach most of this myself. I'd have some other counselors helping with some other elements, and we rotate, and we rent a pool or something for a couple of hours one Sunday and just go through it. And it's fun. The kids enjoy it. It's easy to go through and test them. Okay, do this now, do this. And we go through the basic water safety. It happens every year. Whoever doesn't have it has to come to that Sunday. Everybody else has a free Sunday. And so you're kind of, or whenever you do it, that's how we did it. So basic water safety, everybody needs that. In order to get your pins at the investiture, you have to have that honor on your sash someplace. And your first year in Pathfinders, you have to have it. Now, it may be super easy for some, and it's gonna be a little harder for others, but you work through and help them get that. Now, this health and fitness also requires them to do, you know, the red alert. So for instance, to learn, how do I recognize there's an emergency? It's a basic honor. Basic first aid is just the basics of first aid. It's exactly what it sounds like, but you're not being certified in first aid. You're just learning the basics of it, and it's an honor by itself. Basic rescue, you explorers, now you're seventh graders. You see your friends in trouble. How can you actually help them get out of that trouble? Rangers then have to actually be certified in first aid. So this is something you have to probably invite somebody from your community to come in, somebody from the fire department or police department or whoever does it in your community, and have them come in and help teach that honor. And you'll fight to raise some funds to help pay for that. Physical fitness for Voyagers, this is now your 9th graders. They need CPR honor, and that also needs to be certified in CPR. It's not just enough to earn the honor. The honor actually requires you to be certified. So you need to invite somebody in to do that. And so what we would do normally is, since all of these have to be done, we would just separate out on that particular day that we're going to do the health honors. And so the friends would go in that room, and the companions would go in that room, and explorers would go in another room, and et cetera. And they'd all work on those honors on that day. And we'll talk about this again in a little bit. And you invite the people in. And now the first aid and the CPR might take a little longer, so you may have to have your Rangers and Voyagers stay a little bit longer. But and then the guides need to learn a new one. But I'll talk about the guides a little bit later this evening. But they also need to help teach one of the 3 options. I think they have to teach Red Alert, I think, or do another option. And so sometimes we have the guides just go and help the friends, whoever the counselor, whoever the instructor is for their friends doing Red Alert. The guides, if we had any guides, would then go into that room and help them by teaching it. And it's good for them. They're 10th graders. They can certainly help to know what Red Alert means, you know, and that kind of helps them learn how to be leaders. Because you remember, in a couple of years, you're going to want them to be staff members. and help kind of replace some of us that are getting older. All right, the next one is the nature study. And these are just basic honors. Now, again, not all the honor needs to be done for the basic, but for the advanced, you do, so why not just complete it? And so here's the different ones that are needed for that. We'll come back to that again in a minute. Then again, we have outdoor living. We'll talk about this a little bit more in a minute as well. But notice that there's two different things. So in the gold letters on the screen, you'll see the friends need to know 10 knots, companions 20 knots, explorers need to learn knot tying, and guides need to teach knot tying. So you can see how those kind of progress, and I'll talk more specifically about that a little bit later, so I won't talk about it now. And then also camping skills. Camping skills 1, 2, 3, and 4 for friends, companions, explorers, and rangers. And then voyagers do fire building and camp cookery. Now, if you do this right, you can do camping all at one time and have your friends and have a kind of breakout session to do the specific things. But as you look at the camping skills, you can see how they kind of all work together. Someone was very ingenious as they worked on this, making these honors, so that your friends are supposed to collect wood and wash dishes and et cetera, et cetera. So they all kind of like work together really well. And your voyagers are the ones doing the cooking. Now, you may want to help supervise that cooking because it's supposed to be teaching them, right? You know, you don't expect them to be able to do it perfectly on their own, but if you teach them and you work with them and then you let them try, you can get some pretty interesting meals. It's only for a weekend, and then they get good at it, and then it's kind of fun, and they enjoy doing it. You know, we actually had a camping trip with our rangers one year where they had to. This is not our 8th graders. This is 1 year before the voyagers. We have finished with camping skills, but just for fun. Our rangers counselor wanted to take all the 8th graders out for just their own weekend, just by themselves, just for fun. And so I went along with them, and the boys had their budget for their food, and the girls had their budget for their food, and they had to cook their own meals. The boys had way too many eggs. They had lots of eggs. I don't know what they thought they were doing with all those eggs, but they had lots of eggs to eat. The girls were a little bit more balanced than what they were doing, but it was fun. Today I talked to these kids. They're now in college, and they still remember that camping trip. It was just so much fun for them, and they had a good time doing it. By the time they get to be voyagers, though, they learn how to actually, you know, someone's actually training them about the cooking. We'll come back to all that again in a little bit. And then the last one, which is only for the advanced part of IA, and that's to earn some extra honors. Friends are earning skill levels 1, and explorer and companions as well. Explorers, rangers, voyagers, and guides are all doing skill levels 2 and 3. They need to do one honor in either arts and crafts or household arts, and they also need to do second honor either in recreational, vocational, or outdoors. They have to choose one of those areas to do an honor. And we'll talk a little bit more about that again here in a second with the honors. So that's the basic for investiture achievement classwork. Now let's talk about the honor work, which is the second element to your curriculum, Pathfinder curriculum. The investiture achievement classwork, which is the journals and how you record those, and then the honor work. And then we'll talk about how these all go together at the end. So we all know about honors. Honors are some of the most fun parts about being a Pathfinder. We all enjoy earning our patches and getting them on our sashes and trying to accomplish more things and learn more things. Just a quick word about honors, though. Honors were not designed for Pathfinders to become experts at it. So, for example, you do bookbinding. Bookbinding, we don't expect them to be expert bookbinders and be able to get jobs after taking the honor in bookbinding. We just want them to try it so they can see what it's like and maybe think of it as a career. And so a lot of these honors are really designed for them to get a taste of what it's like to do this. We don't expect them to be experts. We just want them to try a bunch of different things. So by the time they get to college, they've done a lot of different things, and they have, you know, I kind of really enjoy doing that. And then they think more about it, and a career has come out of it. It helps young people learn what they want to do in life. And that's basically what honors is. It's trying to help them become more well-rounded. And so the honor work curriculum has been very well designed to help us become more well-rounded in our Pathfinders. And so, especially as directors, as you're trying to think through what you're going to do this year or how you're going to do it, this is a good program. So there are close to 300 honors. There might be more than this. I did this a little while ago, so maybe more than 300 now. I'm not sure, but somewhere in that neighborhood. And they're all kind of put into 8 categories. They're kind of divided up into 8 categories: the arts and crafts, health and science, household arts, nature, outdoor industries, outreach ministries, recreational and vocational. So these are the 8 categories. And most directors, if we want to be honest, we skew towards those arts and crafts because they're super easy. The kids are all at tables, it's easy to control. But there's something that has been developed to kind of help you kind of broaden out a little bit. Honors are also divided into 3 skill levels. Now, ideally, these are supposed to be by pairs. So friends and companions are skill level 1, explorers and rangers skill level 2, foragers and guides skill level 3. As you get older, it's supposed to be a little harder. But the way it really works is that explorers to guides really do skill levels 2 and 3. And really, you know, it's not that friends and companions can't do a skill level 2 or 3. It just depends on your friends and your companions. If you think they can, and that's not a problem. Let me give you an example of an honor. This is digital photography. I don't expect you to read all this. I just want to point some things out to you. This is the patch. It's a skill level 2 honor because it's a little bit more technical. There are 2 elements to every honor. There's a teaching part and there's the activity part. So I want you to kind of notice the 2 different things. I have blue, teaching, and the red is the activity. So what are they going to do and what are they going to learn, kind of thing. And then the answers are all found at this website. It's the en.wikibooks.org, the wiki/Adventist_youth_honors_answer_book. That's where the answers are found. You don't have to be a professional to teach honors because all the answers are there. But it is nice to have professionals come in and share these answers with them. This is what they need to learn. This is what they need to do. How can we accomplish all of this? This is what the answers say. Now, you as an expert come in, and how can you explain this to young people in a simple way? Keep it simple and make it fun. And so be very careful who you choose to be instructors, because some people come in and they're professionals and they want to share everything they learn, and it's too much for the Pathfinders. It's over their heads. It's way too much. Try to keep it fun. The whole part of Pathfinders is supposed to be fun, right? So these are the honors. Of course, everybody's familiar with that. But what we have in honors is we have to kind of make it more holistic, so that everybody's not just doing arts and crafts. Is this the Master Award program? The awards they're also patches, but they're a little bit bigger. I'll show you pictures in a minute. They're about the size of 1.5 honors, in size. They're a little bit bigger. They're awarded to encourage the holistic approach. There's 12 categories, and anyone who earns seven honors from a set list can get that Master Award. Now I've emailed some handouts to Cheryl, and hopefully those can be passed through the chain, however they go. So one of the handouts that you'll hopefully be getting will have a list of all the Master Awards, all 12 of them, and which honors qualify under that. And I'll explain all that on the screen here in a second, but I wanted you to have a copy at the end for your own in case you felt that it was useful. So here are the 12 Master Awards. Down below at the bottom of the screen are the honor categories. Those are the same 8 categories you saw a minute ago, and most of us are all familiar with that. But the Master Awards, there's 12 of them. So you have 8 categories separated into 12 Master Awards, kind of this more holistic kind of idea of how doing it. And you can see the patches there. So let's just kind of go through and see how they match up. The arts and crafts obviously are falling underneath the Artisan Master Award. That makes complete sense. And you notice that the honor patch, the Artisan honor patch, is blue, while the arts and crafts honors are all blue. Any 7 arts and crafts qualify. So whatever you want to do, model airplanes, whatever, soap carving, whatever you want to do, any 7 will qualify for the Artisan Master. So if you do one artisan arts and crafts honor every year for 6 years, all they need to do is get 1 more arts and crafts honor while they're doing their master guide, and they're an artisan master, and you can then invest them with this very nice award. Our health and science, we saw those a little bit ago. Those are, of course, under the Health Master Award. That's pretty easy. And these are the honors. Now, not all health and science honors qualify. but these are the ones that are part of the Health Master Award. Household arts, of course, homemaking, that makes sense. Again, the same colors, so that's the sewing, that's the laundry, cooking, baking, those kind of honors all fall under that. And so here's the ones that do. Now you notice that sewing is not on the list. I don't know who made the list. I don't know why sewing. I think sewing is a pretty important one. In fact, it's one honor I wish I made sure all of our Pathfinders knew how to do, but it doesn't qualify. I'm not sure why it doesn't qualify, and I don't know who to talk to about that. But anyway, these are the ones that are available for that. Nature has been divided into two master awards, conservation and naturalist. So obviously you're talking about two different things. The conservation is more about fossils, ecology, rocks and minerals, sand, those kind of things. Those are more conservation oriented, and this is a list. Now this list might be updated. I'm not sure. I haven't looked recently to see if they've added more. I hope they've added sewing to that household arts. That just didn't make any sense to me. Nature, or the naturalist master. These are any 6 from this list, and then any 1 from the following list. Now, I'm not sure why they made it that complicated, but again, not every nature honor fits in here, but you can see these are the ones you have to choose from. And I'll talk about this again in a minute, how this works with your investiture achievement journals a little bit later in the presentation this evening. Outdoor industries, of course, is farming. Those are your beekeeping and your dairy and that kind of thing, chickens, whatever, poultry honor. So any 7. So that they weren't specific in that. You can do any 7 you want to. There's not a whole lot of them anyway. This is one master award that I don't yet have. I'm still missing, I think, 1 or 2 honors. I need to work on getting those. Outreach ministry, those honors category is the witnessing master, and that makes sense. Those are the preaching, Bible, all of those things, Bible, all those, and any 7 of those are part of the witnessing master. And then the recreational honor category is separated into 4. So that's the aquatic, recreation, sportsman, and wilderness. Now, recreation and sportsman, it's kind of difficult to tell which go with which. So you have to be a little careful on that one, because as you look online at the list, some of them can go for either one. But if you're not careful, you won't be able to get to sportsman if you put everything in recreation, because there's less available for sportsmen. I'll show you here. So your aquatic, these are your aquatic ones. You can choose any 7 of these. There's only 7 here for recreation. And so I think this is the one where it's more difficult to do. There are some other options, but those options for sportsmen, I think I had it backwards. Sportsmen, I think also softball fits over here. But if you put softball over here and we go back 1 slide, then you only have 6 available for recreation. So you really need to do softball as part of recreation. So that's a little bit more difficult. You need 7, there are only 7. So pay attention to some of that and what that means. Physical fitness is one of the ones you'll do anyway as a voyager. So that should be something that happens naturally. And by the way, let me go back 1 slide again. Some of these, like basketball and soccer, those are done usually in school. And so some of those can be done as part of PE. Just check those off. You don't have to actually do them in your club. Now you can. I love basketball, so I did it in our club. It's up to you how you do that. Some people live close to downhill skiing. Some people live in the Caribbean, and there's no snow, so you're not going to be doing that one. So you got to kind of work with whatever you have and try to make it work. By the way, I envy the people who are living in the Caribbean. I wish I was in the Caribbean. I miss the islands. And then the last one in that category is the wilderness. These are some of your camping things. Not all your camping, but some of them. Edible wild plants, pioneering, that kind of thing. Winter camping, which is fun if you live up north someplace. And the last one, the vocational honor category, is the technician master award. And those, any of those, computers, internet, anything. There's a lot of things in there. Bookbinding, I mentioned earlier, accounting, those kind of things all fit here. Okay, so here's the problem. So now that's kind of the curriculum. We've been through the curriculum, both the classwork and the honor work. Again, I'm not able to see chat, so I don't know if there's any questions on that. Maybe at the end we can catch it, maybe write it down or something. But there are going to be some certain problems as a director, and there's 3 problems I want to bring to your attention. So let's just paint some scenarios. Okay, so as a director, you are getting ready for investiture. You're working with your secretary, and you're trying to order. He or she is trying to help you order from Advent Source the honors you need, the pins you need. And so you go to your counselors and you say, what did your Pathfinders accomplish? I did this my first year, again, as a rookie mistake. I went to them and asked them, and they looked at me with blank eyes, like, how are they supposed to know what they accomplished? The journal is easy because the journal is all written there, but the honors, I don't remember who was here for who did what and how they, so that became a problem. And I realized I had not as a director given them a tool to keep track of something. And so I'm going to give you a tool, at least make it available for you, at least an idea anyway. If you don't need to use it, but it's something that maybe you can get an idea of your own, how to use something, or you're very welcome to use this. And again, I hope these handouts can get to you. Or here's another scenario. You have a Pathfinder who has moved away, or maybe gone to another club, or maybe the family moved, and they contact you and they say, Director Scotty, I was in the club. Oh yeah, I remember you, and I remember doing the soccer honor, but I didn't get a patch for that. I can't find my patch anywhere. Can you send me a patch or tell my Pathfinder director here that I did it? Well, yes, I remember you were in my club, and yes, I remember we did soccer honor, but how do I know if you finished it or not? So I have a tool, again, that I'm going to help you maybe be able to solve that problem and keep track of who's done what and how far they've gone and what they haven't or haven't done. And then requests for information from other clubs, very similarly. Pathfinder moves to another club and they say, what does this Pathfinder actually accomplish? They say they did spiders, but I'm not really sure that they've done everything. How do I know? Can you tell me if they did everything? I don't know if they've done anything. Well, I have a tool maybe can help you with that. So I'm going to give you these two tools. And again, I hope these handouts can make it to you if we find some way to get them to you. There's an honor record sheet on the left. Don't worry about reading it. We'll get in more detail here in a second. And the one on the right is an investiture record sheet that we'll talk about second. So let's do the honor record sheet first. This is something that I came up with, and you're welcome to do anything you want to. It doesn't have to be this. This is just something that I did that I thought might be useful for you. So let's look at the top part, kind of blow up the top part a little bit. You see that the bottom part of this is all the same. So let's just look at the top part of it. And I want to go through these different elements with you, why I thought they were important. The first thing, of course, is the name of the honor to be taught. So we're going to do, digital photography or cats or whatever the honor is. Archaeology. There's an archaeology honor now. So whatever you want to do, write the honor there, and then you write the date is taught. This is very important so that you can keep record of it. And then you write the name of the Pathfinders who were engaged in earning that honor, their names on those lines. And then you have bunch of these little check boxes. And there's 22 of them in each line. And those are the requirements. How many requirements? So let me give you an example. Digital photography, we did that a minute ago as an example. Look down at the green circle. You see there's 8 requirements. So we're going to go back to now our honor sheet, and we're going to cross out 9 through 22 because there's only 8 requirements. By putting a line through it, it's very clear that there's only 8 requirements for this honor. And I've written the names of John, Olivia, Sherlyn, Angelica, all made up names. I'm not using anybody's actual name. I've written digital photography as an honor. That's the name of the honor. And I put the date. We did digital photography on April 5, 2020. Now we didn't because we were all quarantined and I wasn't director, but that's just the date I put in there. So that's the date. So now we know that in the year 2020 and that date, that's when we did the digital photography honor. And these are the Pathfinders that were part of it. Now maybe there's a lot more of them, but for the sake of our example, going for them right now. So as we did the honor, we checked off the requirements as they completed them. And everybody required them all except for Sherlyn. Sherlyn didn't finish requirement 6 and 7. And see, this is where it becomes very useful. Sherlyn doesn't finish 6 and 7. We finish the year, we go into another year next year, a couple more years go by, and Sherlyn comes back and says, Director Scotty, I remember doing the digital photography honor. How come I didn't get it? Well, then I go back to the sheet. I look up the sheet, or the secretary looks up the sheet and finds and says, yeah, Sherlyn, you're right. You did do the digital photography honor, but you still need to do elements 6 and 7. If you do 6 and 7 now, we'll be happy to invest you in that. Or maybe she's moved away and a club director or secretary has contacted you or your club secretary asking the same information. And you say, yeah, she just needs to do number 6 and 7. If she does those, she's good. And so in that way, you have now a record of what everybody's done. And again, you have one of these honor record sheets for every single honor you do every year. You put all those into a folder, label it 2020 or whatever year it is, And then you keep that, and it's much easier to keep track of one piece of paper with every Pathfinder who did that honor on it than it is to try to keep track of all the worksheets and things. And it gets to be quite a lot of paper, not just one sheet. And that makes your filing much, much smaller and much easier for record keeping for years to come. And that's one thing that I thought was very useful. I hope it's useful for you. The other thing is the investiture record sheet. Now, this is what happened when I went to my counselors that first year, and I said, can you give me a report? You know, what did your Pathfinders accomplish? I had not given them any tools to be successful in giving me that answer. And so that summer I worked on these two tools. And this is the second tool. Let's look at that first one. You can see on each sheet, there are 4 identical things. We're gonna look at just the one on the top left as an example. They're all exactly the same. Okay, so what you're gonna see up at the top is some basic elements to this sheet. The first one is the name of the Pathfinder. Now this is, so each one of these little, let me get my cursor here. Each of these is self-contained. This is one here. And then this one over here is another one. We don't have, it's kind of cut off, but it's over there. So this one here is just for the Pathfinder. So let's say that's Sherlyn. This is because we used her name already. We put Sherlyn's name there. And then under this line is friend and time. Sherlyn is a friend. She's earning friend. Her journal work, if she finished the journal work, this would be then checked, a check mark would go here. She finished friend, which means for investiture, she gets the little pin, the round pin that goes on the flap. Now, if she completed the trail friend, which is the advanced ribbon, the element, the ribbon bar, then we check that one. So when this is turned in, this investiture record sheet is turned in to the secretary at the end of the year, so she can now organize and get ready for investiture, or he can get ready for investiture, whoever your secretary is. Then they can look at this and very quickly go, oh, okay, so Sherlyn then would get friend, like she has checked here, she gets the round pin, and this is also checked, she gets a ribbon bar. It's very easy for the secretary then to work that out. And so also, so you see that checked upon completion, either friend or trail friend. And then up here, you put the Pathfinder year. So that one sheet has 4 different Pathfinders on it, but that same year. So in this case, it'd be year 2020. So we put 2020 right there. And this is something that you keep track of. Now, you probably have more than 4 friends in your friend class. So you just need a couple more papers, however many you need, so that you can get all your friends, and then you staple them together or whatever your secretary wants you to do. As you turn those in, they have them all there, easy. And this is something that counselors keep with them all year until the very end, they turn it in. It's like their report of what's happened. Another element is those honors that are required for the investiture achievement. So in your journal, you have the elements red alert. We saw that a little bit earlier. As friends, every friend needs to earn the red alert honor. If you don't learn the red alert honor, you can't get your friend pin. This can't be checked if you don't earn these 4. Now, this Christian citizenship is the exception. You do almost all of it for the friend. You finish it for the trail friend. So it doesn't, just because you finish it doesn't mean you get trail friend, but it's one of the elements for trail friend. So I put it here in black because it's something that's unique to friends, and it has to be taught anyway. Most of it has to be taught every year anyway. Why not just go ahead and finish it? Basic water safety is there. Now, basic water safety is going to be on every one of these, your friends, companions, but you may already have it, so you may just have to cross it out because you don't need it, or just don't mark it at all. So those are the 4 that are needed for friends to get their investiture achievement. But, oops, okay, so here you can see right here. So your this is your health and fitness category for your investiture achievement journal. You see number 1 here, they have to learn about nutrition. They can draw things on their plate and build whatever. Number 2, earn the red alert honor. So there it is right there. They have to earn that honor. And down here, complete basic water safety or beginning swimming. Basic water safety or beginning swimming. If that's done, they get this checked off and signed, little initials, whoever is signing them off as the counselor or the instructor or whoever is doing it. And so when that's done, when this is checked off and initialed by whoever is teaching the honor or the counselor, then the counselor goes back to this and marks started and then finished. Now the red alert honor will have an honor sheet, right? Like we just got done seeing a minute ago with red alert honor and the name of your friends there, and maybe a few others wanted to join in because they didn't earn it and they wanted to earn it. They're all listed there. So you'd mark here under Sherlyn, her name's here, Sherlyn, you mark check mark for start. She started it. Now, if she then finishes all the requirements for red alert, then you put a check mark by finish. So that way, you know that she started it and she finished it. Now, maybe she only started camping skills and she didn't finish camping skills. Well, if she didn't, she wouldn't finish friend. So let's say she started Christian citizenship, but didn't finish Christian citizenship. So she can't be a trail friend, but she can't be a friend because she finished all the elements for that. And so you know she started it, but she didn't finish it. So then you go to your honor record sheet, which we just got done looking at, with all those check marks, and then you say, okay, what did she not finish? And you see what it is, and then you keep track of that. So this is the start and finish. She started it, finished it. This also helps alert the secretary at a quick glance, so he can see or she can see that this pathfinder started something, but they didn't finish it, so they can go to the honor record sheet and see what's still missing. So that's an easy kind of way these two work together. Now you see here, red alert is a requirement for friends. Companions have to do basic first aid, basic rescue, first aid. We did all these a minute ago. Those are all the requirements. In your health, so remember that's the 7 you need to earn for your health master. Well, oops, let me go back one slide. I ghosted out those, so you can see those. Here's red alert here. Here's your basic first aid, your basic rescue, your first aid, and your CPR. So those are the 5. Now your guides need to do 1 health and science. Doesn't matter which one they do. They have to do 1. It's easy for them. Chemistry, bones, muscles, movements, blood and body defenses. These are all things physics. They're doing this in high school already. So again, having done it in high school, just have to have the teacher in high school say, here's the Pathfinder requirements. Show this to your teacher. If they check it out that you've done it all, then you get your honor. You don't have to do it again in Pathfinders. You've already done it in school. That's enough. Don't burden your high school students. And for the rest of the honors, we're talking about a solution. How would you ever teach, childcare, babysitting, or how would you ever teach optics or something, home nursing? Well, I'll talk about that again in a few minutes when we get down to there. So just kind of hang on to that thought for a minute. The rest of the honors that aren't included, how would you ever teach those? Okay, so back to our investiture record sheet. We have some ghosted elements here written in, so you can write in pen on top of them the remaining master award types. So here's the nature honor, arts and crafts, vocational, aquatic, conservation, farming, sportsman, homemaking, and recreation. You probably recognize all that. Now the reason why you don't have health and science here, the health master, is because it's already up here at red alert, and you don't have the witnessing one because it's right here. So, and you don't have the wilderness because it's right here. So you have some of these are already included in these. These are the ones that are left over that don't have a required honor. And then you can write above that. So the nature honor, the arts and crafts, vocational, those are all skill level 1 because that's part of your investiture achievement journal. Again, I'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. So if you don't understand, just hang on. But that's still part of your journal. The rest of it is part of that master award kind of holistic honors thing. They're not required for anything. They're not required for either friend or trail friend. These are just so you can get all 7. So if you did 1 in every category, all 12 categories every year, then theoretically, by the time you finish guide, you'll have 6 in every category. And then as a master guide, you just need to earn 1 more for all those, and you become a master in all 12 categories. So that's how it's kind of set up. And then there's some extra lines down here for any other honors that are not included in here. They just did an extra honor. Maybe that unit went out and did an extra one on their own or something. So you write that down there. And then in the beginning is the start and the finish. And of course, talked about that again a minute ago. When they start the honor, you mark start. When they finish it, and they get all those requirements done on the other sheet, that other worksheet, and you mark finish on this one. And this one you turn in then at the end of the year to your secretary so they can prepare for investiture program, or however your club does. You turn it into whoever you turn it into. In my club, you turn it into the secretary. And I think every year I was there was a female, so she would then organize it. But it could very well, of course, be a male. It wouldn't matter. So those are the two. And of course, there's four friends you can put on one sheet, and you just Xerox or copy as many sheets as you need for as many friends as you have. Of course, there's the same thing for companions. There's the basic first aid. Here's camping skills 2, cultural diversity, and then all the rest of them ghosted. Explorers have basic rescue, camping skills 3, Christian grooming and manners. You saw those a minute ago, knot tying. Remember, they have to expose us to do knot tying. Then the rest of them here. And see, basic water safety is ghosted on both of these because it's still required, but if you're a friend, you've already earned it. Now, maybe you didn't earn it. Maybe you do need to do this. So just write in ink, ink pen or pencil, basic water safety in that line. And that's if the companion had to do it. Maybe they were never a friend. Maybe they just came in as a sixth grader and to your club, so they need to do basic water safety. You just write it in on that line right there. Rangers have a unique one. Voyagers have a unique one. Guides have a unique one. And then staff, for staff, every staff is doing something. You're teaching honors. If you teach an honor, you get a little diamond on it that says you taught, which is kind of cool. And then, of course, maybe you earned a lot of these honors. So you can then write down your honors and some extra ones there. And by the way, if you're a staff member, if you have staff, of course, you're going to have staff members. In a staff meeting, just go through some of this and say, if you've got kids, you've done basic childcare. You've done home nursing, almost certainly. You've done some of those things. You've done cooking and baking and cleaning. You've done all this already. So kind of go through the honors with them. Your staff should have a whole bunch of honors on their stats just by simply being an adult. You're going to have a bunch of things. And so kind of go with them and help your staff get honors so that when they're teaching the Pathfinders don't have more honors than your staff. Your staff should have a lot of honors because they're adults. They've done all this stuff already. Maybe they still need to write a paragraph about something, but that's super easy to do. Just say, write a paragraph and turn it in, and I'll sign you off on it. Then on this investiture record sheet, you can just write in, and yeah, they did childcare or whatever. And so you get a whole bunch of honors, and your staff then gets invested too. That's fun for everybody. So here's some more tips, kind of help along the way. When you're a director, and this happened to me again a number of years before I finally learned it. I didn't necessarily understand that I needed to instruct, be kind of direct, obviously, the instructors of how to instruct. Many of them canceled last minute, and it became kind of chaotic. I had to step in a number of times. You're probably going to do the same thing, but you need to encourage them to know the material ahead of time. The purpose for that is you don't want them reading from a sheet. Maybe they can hold in a hand for a cheat sheet in case they get nervous, but you don't want them to be reading from a sheet because that's just very boring to hear somebody else read for an hour or 2 hours that you're doing an honor, just hear them read. You want to be able to teach it with some kind of enthusiasm, some kind of excitement, and wrap in spiritual text. You want them to, Pathfinders is all about God. You want them to work God into it somehow. Object lessons, somehow bring in Bible text, make it something more spiritual. Yeah, we're making pizza, but what can we learn about God by making pizza? So try to do that way. Know the activities that Pathfinders will be required to complete. If you don't know what activities you're supposed to be doing, then honor is just a bunch of worksheets, and that's not fun for anybody, and you're not going to finish anything. And then know how to get your materials to fit into that time element you have. Stick to your plan, trust your preparation. Don't be afraid to say you don't know. If a Pathfinder asks a question, you're not an expert. I'm not an expert in digital photography. I know how to use a camera. I certainly can teach the honor, but I'm not an expert. And if you have an expert, that's great. But if you don't, I don't know the answer. I'll try to find out for you. Maybe we can Google it and find out. That's another thing. We need to act like we're living in a world where everybody's got one of these and everybody can Google things. So we don't need to act like people don't have access to information anymore. You find ways to incorporate new technology into what you're doing. Have them look up stuff really quick, or in most cases, as a director, I have a basket by the door. When they come in, they put their phone in the basket. When they go out, they take the phone out of the basket. They do not have their phone with them during the meeting. It's hard to keep them focused otherwise. So I always told my Pathfinders, and Derek Jeter used to be a shortstop for the New York Yankees. They called him the captain because he was there for so long. He's so great. He's in the Hall of Fame. Derek Jeter, as famous as he was, you never saw pictures of him outside of baseball. Why? Because the apartment he had in New York City, he had a basket by the front door. And when people came to visit him, if you want to come into his apartment, you put your phone in the basket. You spend time with him, no pictures, and then you come out, pick up your phone, and leave. If you're not willing to do that, you don't come into his home. Pathfinders is more important than Derek Jeter's personal life. If Derek Jeter, that famous person, can have that very regimented idea, we certainly can do it as Pathfinder directors. Basket by the front door, secretaries watching it, guarding it, so nobody's stealing anybody's phones. You can put labels on things if you want to. You can find different creative ways of doing it. But the idea is they put their phones down when they come in, they spend time with Pathfinders, they engage. When they leave, they take their phones out. But maybe you want them to use it. In that case, you let them have it for that meeting or for that activity and take it back again. I just let them know at the very beginning. You don't add rules in, but during orientation, whenever you do orientation for your Pathfinders, this is what we're going to do this year, and this is why we're doing it. So we can learn things without distractions. You have your phone all the time. You don't need it during Pathfinders. So that's something. That's a tip you want to use. It's up to you. Also, I would say, invest more time. This is something we also had to learn. Time in club meetings, time calling people between club meetings, holding unit activities outside of club meetings. Maybe you need more time for things. There was one year where for whatever reason, there was 4 or 5 honors that were this close to finishing, but just couldn't quite do it. So Saturday night, we had a lock-in. Our club meetings were always on Sunday morning. So the Pathfinders came. Saturday night, we finished the last couple elements and all the honors that we didn't quite have done. Did it all right together as a group, boom, 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 got them all done, played some games, and then slept in the church, obviously with counselors, separating the girls and the boys, obviously. Sunday morning, woke up, had breakfast, Pathfinders cooked the breakfast, and then we have our club meeting, and then they go home. So, and that was a fun way for us to invest a little bit more time, helping them accomplish and finish up whatever they need to. I think one year we had some journal work that for some reason, the explorers just didn't quite get everything done. So they needed a little bit more time. And so they came and did a lock-in and they finished it up that way. That was a fun way. Like I mentioned, the Rangers going on a camp out to get some extra things done just for some fun. So invest more time. In Pathfinders, it's hard to ask because all the staff members, we invest money and we invest time, but we do it because we love the kids and we really feel a passion for them. And so you don't want to get burnt out, so don't overdo it, but do your best. Work with parents. If maybe you're a director and you're it, maybe there is nobody else. The kids have parents. The parents may not be Adventists. That's okay. You can have them come in and help you. Work with people to come in as much as you can to help. Now you want, of course, as much as possible to have Adventist, well, not just Adventist, but good Christians. You want good Christian Adventist staff members, but work with what you have. People in the church, maybe they're not willing to be a staff member, a full-time staff member, but maybe they're willing to come in and help with something. Maybe they want to help with the lock-in. Maybe they want to come in and go on a camping trip with you and help teach the Pathfinders cooking or whatever it is. Maybe you just want to come teach an honor. Maybe you can tap into some of their skills. And then work with some teachers in the area. Maybe bring in the fire department, or maybe bring in a teacher from a school, an Adventist school, or maybe a public school, teach backpacking or something. And just work with other people to kind of help you not be burnt out by doing everything yourself. And then also responsibility. Pathfinders need to learn responsibility. One way that we did this is that in our club is those honor patches, every one of them costs about $1 at Advent Source. Maybe it's a little bit more now, about $1. And so what we would do is we'd say, okay, this is your club. This is the fee for being in the club. It covers the T-shirt, the uniform elements. It covers some of the expenses for their materials and whatever, the journals, that kind of thing. But then every club meeting, we also had the Pathfinders bring $1. Now I was very, very specific. I told the parents this on orientation night. I don't want you as a parent to give the Pathfinder the $1. I want the Pathfinder to earn that $1 at home by doing extra chore, washing the dishes, doing something, doing the laundry, doing something to earn that $1. It's something that they're supposed to do on their own. So when they come to the club meeting, they get points then for being in uniform being also the journal in the Bible. They get points for bringing their club due, the club dues every Pathfinder meeting. And that $1, not necessary, but it does help cover the cost of the honor you're going to be teaching that time, or whatever element you're going to be doing. It does help cover that cost. And you explain to the Pathfinders, that the parents, that's what it's for. Explain to the Pathfinders, that's what it's for. And you tell your Pathfinders, at the end of your meeting, this meeting, next time we'll be doing this honor. Between this club meeting and next club meeting, you have 1 week or 2 weeks, however you do it in your club, to earn that $1. I don't want your parents giving it to you. I want you to earn it. It's your responsibility. You get points. And we had a point system in our club. So at the end of the year, everybody who had a certain number of points then got to do an extra activity. We had go karts or or miniature golf or something special to say, to kind of celebrate them by getting their points, being in the uniform, doing the different things, bringing this club fee of $1 to help them learn responsibility. And also we want the staff to kind of help them in that. So you have your counselors. Counselors can send notes home to the parents. This is what we need them to do. Maybe you want to, maybe a note, maybe it's a paper, maybe it's an email or a tweet. Hey, this is what we did. We're expecting, Sherlyn to do something for the $1, to bring $1 back for her club due next club meeting, because we're going to be doing this honor and it's going to cover the honor patch. She needs to earn it though. It's a responsibility thing. And then maybe call on the off week and say, hey, how you doing? Maybe not about the $1, but maybe it's about anything. How are you doing, Sherlyn? Were you able to do that extra thing? How was your school life? Just kind of stay in the kids' life and check their progress at the next club meeting. So Sherlyn, did you finish this? One thing I learned, every staff member, and it's even more important for the director, you need to know everybody's name, not just the kids in your unit as a staff, as a counselor, but as a director, you need to know everybody's names, and not just their names. You need to know something about them. I know that Jonathan likes the Golden State Warriors. So did the Warriors play this last week sometime? Of course they did. How does Steph Curry do? Just to have a few things I can talk to him about. Sherlyn really likes K-pop. I'm not into K-pop, but she likes BTS, and so I'm gonna try to see what did BTS do this week that she might know. And hey, Sherlyn, I saw BTS dropped a new album. And it's just something that you can connect with them on, something that's important to them, not that important in real life, but it helps them know that they mean something and something about them. It builds that relationship. And as a director, that's super, super important, because you want them to build a relationship with you, so then you can then show them a relationship with God and your staff as well. So I encourage my staff, learn things about the Pathfinders, talk to them, know their names, know what they like, and get to know them. It's really important. Okay, and then, so this is now how you put the two together. We only have a few more slides, and then we'll be done and open up to some questions. But if you put these two things together, the investiture achievement, classroom, coursework in the journal, and then the honors, maybe even the master award honors part of it. So just for example, the naturalist master. So the green circle is this naturalist master. In your advanced nature study track in your journal, you're expected to earn a skill level 1 for Friends Nature honor. Okay, so you look here on the advanced part of your nature study journal, come down to number 3, and it says complete a nature honor at your skill level not previously earned. Well, you're working on seeds or amphibious reptiles already as part of number 2. You don't need to do all of that honor, just these elements. Why not just finish that honor? Do that honor, and that way you check off both number 2 and number 3 in the very same club meeting. Saves you time, and you're able to do 2 things at once. The first requirement always is complete the friend requirements, which of course you're going to do already. These other 2 over here, that's just part of the coursework anyway. So just by doing 1 honor, they've done the advanced element. It's that easy. And so of course here they are here. So you have them all listed. We showed you this already. That's a very complicated one. We have any 6 of these and any 1 of these. It's kind of weird. And then, so do amphibians then. Amphibians skill level 1. That's easy. That's number 2 and number 3. Accomplish it, et cetera, et cetera. And so the only one where this doesn't work is rangers. I don't know who did the curriculum, who made the IA curriculum, but I think they made a mistake, because they're told to do fishes. They needed a skill level 2 or 3. It doesn't work. So that's something you have to be a little watch out for. The rangers on this particular one, keep your eye out. You may need to substitute something else. I think a mistake was made in the journal. I don't know who talked to about that. Okay, another thing is by skill level. So like we said, you have your friends and companions that need to do something. So have them separate out. So they need to do technical honor, the little red ones, vocational honor. So you'd want to do that one. So friends and companions go into one room and do computers. Explorers, rangers, voyagers, guide go into another room and do another honor, that maybe digital photography or whatever it is for theirs. And so then that way you're all accomplishing skill level 1, skill level 2, 3 they need by teaching 2 honors at the same time, by having 2 different people do 2 different things, 2 instructors working in 2 different rooms. And then each year you pick from a naturalist master award and which one you want. So I always ask my Pathfinders, my staff, here's a list of things that we need to accomplish, if we can do that this year or next year, which one do you want to do this year, and kind of vote, and people kind of vote. It makes them feel good that they're voting. Sometimes we do the voting during orientation. Kids like to have a say in what they're doing, but you give them a choice. So it's like when you have young kids and they want to dress themselves, but if you just let them go at the dresser, they're going to come out wearing scuba gear. It's not going to work out. So what you do is you lay out two different outfits. You say, hey, these are 2 outfits. You can choose which outfit do you want. So it's the same kind of thing. You're telling them these are the honors you can choose from, because you know already the curriculum, you want to accomplish the curriculum. Which of these honors are you interested in doing? And that way you're selecting their decisions, and then they can choose from those. Gives them some kind of power. At the same time, you're keeping track and not losing control of the curriculum. And so recreation honor, for example, so this is the knot tying one. You see down here, 10 knots, 20 knots, or knot tying. Well, here's the great thing. So friends need to know 10 knots, all right? Any 10 knots. Companions need to know 20 knots. Well, 10 of those knots, they learned as a friend. So they're reviewing 10 knots and learning 10 new knots. Again, this is not going to be difficult because you can do it all at the same time. And then the explorers need to earn the knot tying honor. So the knot tying honor, one of the requirements is know 20 knots. Well, if they did 10 knots as a friend and 10 new knots as a companion, reviewing the 20, they just have to review those 20 knots they learned the previous year. Hopefully they've been using some of those in camping trips and other things. Review those 20, and they've got it. You can work on the other knot tying requirements, and they're done. The guides, by the way, need to teach the knot tying honor, so you can have the guides help to teach it. So you as a instructor or as an adult in the room, kind of helping out, making sure things are moving along at a good pace so you don't get behind in your time, but you're also letting them kind of instruct and teach the honor itself. But they should already know the knots. It's kind of progression, so it works easy that way. Same thing with the making friends. This is that Christian citizenship, or for explorers, the Christian grooming and manners. It's right there. You're doing some of it already here, so why not just go ahead and finish it and do that honor there? And those are any 7, but why choose 7? You're already doing these 6 already. These 6 are the ones you have to do for the witnessing master. You have to do them already anyway for your journal. Why not just finish it off and get those done? And again, those are easy to do. So on that day, what I would do, let me go back one slide. On that day, the day we were going to do the witnessing master honors, we would separate by 6 different rooms, boom, 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 all over the church, maybe outside the church if you needed to. And then you could, you have one instructor doing the friends, one instructor doing the companions, maybe your counselors are instructing, maybe you bring somebody from outside. It's up to you how you do all that. But 6 things are happening all at one time, so they can all accomplish what they need, so that they can then finish their investiture achievement. But they're also, by the process, doing the witnessing honors. And you can see them down here. Another one, camping progression. Camping skills 1 for friends. For companions, camping skills 2. For explorers, camping skills 3. Now the camping skills, this is the progression. We talked about this a little earlier. The problem is, for the wilderness master, only camping skills 4 and fire building and camp cookery. This is your rangers and your voyagers. Those are the only ones that count. I don't know why the other ones don't count. So you need to do some of these other ones for them to get their wilderness master. This is going to be a little more tricky because you have to already do the other camping skills. You got to add in an extra honor. It's difficult. But anyway, this is something you have to think about. I don't know who did this and why they didn't include the other ones. So that's your outdoor living track, and also your wilderness master kind of working together, your journal and your master awards working together. So a couple more slides, 2 or 3 more slides. There's certain honors you probably figured out that you're not going to be able to do. If you're trying to incorporate honor, the master awards into your journal, make it all work together, there's just some honors you're just never going to get to. It's going to be hard to get to them, and it's a shame that it's that way, but that's the way the curriculum currently is. And so I prepared actually a handout that I gave to all my Pathfinders. I give them an orientation, and I say, look, these are the honors, to be quite honest, we're probably not going to get to in the course of the 6 years you're going to be here, just because of the way the curriculum is made. And so these are cool honors. Maybe you want to do some of these on your own. So these are ones that you go home, you work on all the requirements, you go online to the pathfinders.org website, go to the honors page, kind of print out the worksheet or whatever, and have your parents check it off. bring it back to your counselor, let your counselor sign off on it, maybe your deputy director or however it is you do it in your club, and then that goes to the secretary. No reason to bother the director. The director has many things to think about. Let it go through the counselors, and then that goes to the secretary, and so you get that honor. You get invested in that extra honor. Remember we had those blank lines on the investiture achievement worksheet? That was for some of these things. If they do some extras, they write those in. I had one young man, a ton of honors. He took advantage of this. Said, okay, we're not gonna do these honors. I'm a homeschooled kid, so I got tons of time. I'm just gonna do a whole bunch of honors, and he did. His stash is filled, and that was great. He enjoyed Pathfinder so much because he could go off on his own and do some extra things beyond, because he wasn't doing enough in Pathfinders, where the others were in regular school, and it was difficult for them to do extra things. And so this was a way to kind of keep them both kind of happy. It's also some things you can do as in units. Maybe your unit goes out, your friend's unit or your explorer's unit goes out and does something just to do this honor on their own. Maybe your guides want to do their own lock-in and do their own honor. Maybe a TLT outing, you want to do something, or a special event. These are some honors you can do that are outside of the curriculum, outside of what you do as a club, that they can do kind of special. And that's the worksheet hopefully you can get. Save time teaching honors. The most important thing about doing honor is to teach the honor. So for example, if you're doing the pizza making honor, the most important thing is to make pizza. If you spend all of your time in your club meeting talking about pizza, you never actually make the pizza, the Pathfinders are going to be bored to death, and they're not going to really like Pathfinders. You're going to get bored. You're going to have tons of worksheets. It's not going to work out well. So what I recommend is while you're doing the pizza making, the instructor is teaching the pizza making. Maybe the same instructor can also give the information about pizza. Maybe they can't. Maybe you need a second person throwing in tidbits and quizzing the kids as they're rolling their dough, as they're doing the toppings or whatever they're doing. Someone's quizzing them about the other elements so that they're learning while they're doing the activity. On your way out to do water skiing, you actually go through the rest of the instructions about actually the teaching elements. Remember that digital photography honor? We showed you the blue teaching elements, the red activity elements. The activity, of course, obviously is the pizza making. The blue teaching ones would be what you need to learn. So just do the learning while you're doing the activity. That way it's not boring for anybody. And also, you'll save time. One thing you'll discover is that Pathfinders are not going to be the same every week, and so it's going to cause some troubles. In fact, I think that's one of the most important things. Let me go back one slide. One of the most important things to keep track of is if you do one honor for one club meeting, it sounds like it's impossible because some honors take a lot of time, but if you fold in the teaching element into the activity, you save time. You don't have a bunch of worksheets. You're doing activities. It's more fun for everybody. And the Pathfinders who show up today for this club meeting won't necessarily be there for the next club meeting. One year I taught basketball, and I decided to do basketball over 2 meetings so that we would have time for all of it. The second week, I had brand new kids. The Pathfinders are completely different. What happened to all the other Pathfinders that were there last week? So I had to start all over again. And then it ended up being 3 weeks of basketball because we couldn't finish it. And it kept going, and I kept having different kids showing up, and it became an issue, became a problem. So you try to do all of it at one meeting. It's much easier, much better, as much as possible. Obviously, some of these honors are quite large. And the most important thing of all, the very last slide, and we'll open up to questions, is you as a director need spiritual time with God. If you're not spending time with God, you're going to get burnt out. It's an awful lot. Make sure you have good staff. You have good staff meetings. You have to let everybody knows what they're supposed to do and how what they do fits into the overall thing, and what you're trying to accomplish. Maybe go through some of these slides with them. I'd be happy for you to do that and help them understand what they're doing and how they're doing it and what you want to accomplish. And then have fun as a director. All right, I think we'll open up the questions. Let's see if I can stop sharing the screen. And then got some chats here. Does anybody want to pop in for questions and answers? Cheryl, do you want to, or what do you think? What do you guys think?
There's a question. Go ahead, Eric.
Yes. So as you guys know, I'm always, somebody that will publicize, because if only there was a place that taught so many honors that could cover all these master awards. Oh, yes, Lake Union Club Ministries Academy. We have taught over 70 honors and 4 master awards we have qualified for, such as the homemaking master, the zoology master, uh, and I forget spiritual growth and ministries master. And the 4th one is not coming to my mind right now, but we have done 4 master awards, 70, and any honor that can be done at home, as Professor Scotty's handout states, we will teach or have taught. And some that aren't on the list, we have taught, including such as barbering and hairstyle. So
Nice.
always,
That's super important right now with the lockdown.
that's right. So feel free to always stay tuned into the Academy, and we will continue to give you guys these honors. We've been doing it for 17 weeks now, over 70 honors being taught, and we're going to keep going. So yeah.
Wonderful.
So some questions. Where can we have access for the honor record sheet and the investiture record sheet?
I said these to you, Cheryl. I don't know if they can be put into a Google Drive someplace, or maybe somebody can access. I don't know how we can work that out, but I'm happy for people to have those.
All right. Did you send it to me today? Or is it
I did send it
previously?
to you today, so it may have to go into something afterwards. Yeah.
No problem. All right.
I see another question. Who can be an instructor in Pathfinders? Anybody can be an instructor. In fact, that's one of the beauties of it is it's best if you can get somebody who knows what they're talking about. But quite literally, anybody can teach honors. These are young people's activities. We're not expecting you to be an expert bookbinder. So you just have to have some idea what you're doing. And people in church, I think people in church want to support Pathfinders. I think as a director, it's important to be upfront as much as possible, sharing what your club is doing. This is this church's club. And so you want them to be happy what the Pathfinders are doing and be visible. And then that way you can tap into some of the talents that your church members have. They can't spend time being a staff member, but maybe they can come in for one morning and help you do something. So anybody can really. People in the community is a good place. Get the community members part of your club part of the community, so that people know who you are and you become an actual tangible element in your community. That's important. Anything else, Cheryl?
I just found the record sheets that you sent to me today, so I've just forwarded those to Eric.
All
Somebody's
right.
asking about levels of IA. The level. So there's 2 different terms. So in the classwork, levels are the classwork for friends, companions, explorers, rangers, voyagers, guides. Units, same 6 designations. It's just how you use them in your club. Levels are those 6. Somebody said 5 words, but it's actually 6. But units are also the same thing. So in my club, I had a large club. I think Cheryl was also part of a really large club. And we have 1 counselor or maybe 2 counselors, a boy and a girl, if possible. That'd be great for those bigger clubs, just for friends. So friends is its own unit, and they work as a unit to accomplish different things. They line up as a unit when you have your opening ceremonies and your closing ceremonies. They do different things as units. You teach them obviously their classwork as a unit. But then when we talk about the classwork itself, it's a level, it's a class. So that's all that meant. And I'm sorry about the terms. I should have been more clear. Okay, anybody else?
Robin asks, what if a country that you live in does not have facilities she says, what do you do? Yeah, if it doesn't have facilities, I guess, for teaching or something like that at all.
Yeah, so some of you are going to be in some difficult situations, and you're going to have to be very creative. Some are going to be really small clubs. Sometimes you don't have a church to work in. Sometimes you barely have a shed or a tree to be under. So you just do the best you can. And in that case, you as the director, talk to your area coordinators, the people up above, and have them work with you about how to accomplish something. Sometimes you just may not be able to accomplish something. It may not be available to you. And if that's the case, there should be some allowance, I'm sure, in your area for that. And God bless you. God bless you. That's some tough work. Okay, anything else? Okay, so I don't know if I see any more questions. If not, maybe that's good. God bless everyone. Being a director is very rewarding. It is a lot of fun. It can also be challenging. Don't get burnt out. Get help, pray, get good support. God is there for you. Don't take too much. My first year, I tried to be the director and secretary at the same time. Big mistake. Oh, wow, that's a big mistake. You really need to have an extra person do that kind of work. Keep track of those papers so you can direct the club and not focus on the details of some of those things. So it's important to diversify, get more help. Don't just try doing everything yourself. It won't last long.
All right. With that, we want to thank Professor Baker for teaching us tonight. We got one little quick one. Let's see. Why are some honors not available in other territories? I'll answer that real quick because they found that there are certain honors you would have to be in that territory. I think we covered this in some of our honor training. Some honors the facilities and the materials are only found in that area, so you will not be able to earn it any other place. And some like Advent Source do not sell the patches and things like that, but most likely it's going to be more in the area of if there's an honor that's only taught in South America, it's because they have something that we do not have in other areas. All right.
Like palm trees in Michigan. We don't have a lot of palm trees in Michigan. So
there you go.
It's hard to do that honor here.
Yeah.
But we have the Petoskey Stone honor.
Right. Not everybody has Petoskey stones or dunes or whatever. Yeah.
There you go.
Or winter camping.
There you go. There you go. Yes, it's going to be a little difficult to fulfill the winter camping requirements when you are in the Caribbean. So with that, we thank Professor Baker for teaching us, and we thank you all for joining us for AYMT Director. Keep in touch with us on our social media and our website to see what we will be doing in the future. We're working on it, but we will be taking a little break, but also coming back to give you guys some more trainings. But remember, the honors are still going forward. The awards are still happening. So continue to stay in touch with us here at Lake Union Club Ministries Academy. With that, let us pray and dismiss. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you once again for allowing us to come together to learn how to be better teachers for your Pathfinders and your young people. We thank you for that opportunity. Continue to speak to us so that we can do it to the best of our ability. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right.
Amen.
Staff, you are dismissed. God bless, and we'll see you next time, whenever that is. Bye.
God bless you.